Good morning, everybody. Hope all is well. It's a toasty 39 degrees outside this morning, but I'm on a mission. In the other van is a big old 14 by 13 inch hole in the floor where there used to be a generator. I don't know if y'all remember that big old box that was right there, but there was a generator in this van in its previous life. I'm going to cut a square out of this, and I'm going to try to patch that hole today. Don't know how effective this will be. Not absolutely certain I know what I'm doing, but I've got a really good idea about how to go about this, and I think it's going to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a square out of that metal pan, use some of this squeezy goop stuff that never sets. It's a non-skinning premium grade butyl sealant, which means it will always be waterproof, in my opinion. I don't know. There's probably somebody out there that's going to be laughing at me talking about that ain't what that means. But oh well. I'm doing this for my first time. I used it on the entry glands for the solar panel cables on the roof and screwed them down, and I haven't had a leak out of that yet, so I'm going to try it here. So what I'm going to do is cut a square out of that pan, use the squeezy goop and some self-tapping screws, and maybe that'll seal that up. Maybe later on, when it gets warmer, I'll get under there, clean the whole bottom of it, and paint over it or something. But we'll see. As of right now, I've got that hole. There's a hole right there where the exhaust pipe went through for the old generator. And there's also a hole right here where the fuel line came in for the generator. I'm going to have to drop a tank and get under there and take that off of the fuel sender and cap that, because I don't want a fuel hose under my floor potentially getting poked and all of a sudden gas fumes in my home. But step one, big hole, fix that. We'll see how this turns out. Y'all come back in a bit, maybe you'll see some results. And there we have it. I got squeezy goop all the way around it. I went around it twice. Tell you what, that stuff's a mess if you ain't careful with it. But it's super sticky and non-skinning, so I think it'll do what I need it to do. Now, to get this over that hole, flipped over without making a ridiculous mess. And the only reason I've got that propped up is because I started building that framework as a template, or to get an idea of how it was going to be, and that's connected to the section in the back that goes around the wheel wells and such. But hey, it's whatever. So I'm gonna try to do this without making a ridiculous mess. I started going around that with it, but decided to work on it outside like I did, so we'll see how this turns out. And there we have it. Big hole, patched and covered. That looks like a little bit of a gap right there. Yeah, I might have to drill some more holes and put more screws in. Okay, and there we have it. A little bit of progress. And there we have it. There's two spots I didn't get a screw in because I broke my last drill bit. I broke 4 or 5 drill bits doing this, but excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. I've got 22 screws in that. Like I said, cut the square out of the pan, put the squeezy goop on there. That stuff made a ridiculous mess all over my hands, but anyway, I'll use some gasoline and get it off here in a little bit. But I screwed it down to the floor, and I believe that ought to do what I need it to do. I mean, it's going to be covered with a floor frame and insulation and plywood and then flooring and cabinets and all that such anyway, so I'm not concerned with how it looks. Function over fashion, especially if it's going to be under the floor. But I believe that's it for today's video, or this one anyway. Might make one later about dinner, I don't know. So, there. That's what I set out to do today, and I did. Wow, that sun is bright. I like it. That means my solar panels are getting about 10 amps of power for each battery. That's a good thing. Anyway, I'm gonna quit rambling. I'm gonna clean up, go find me somewhere to park for the afternoon and evening, and I will see y'all later. I hope all is well, and until next time, happy trails.